Welcome to the Volume 1 recap of Love, Death and Robots. In dystopian London, a young woman named Sunny participates in underground beastie fights. The ringmaster Dicko attempts to bribe Sunny to throw the match, but she declines. Her teammates explain that Sunny was sexually assaulted and mutilated in the past. Her desire for revenge eventually becomes her edge. Sunny enters the arena piloting her beast Carnivore to fight the opponent Turboraptor. After a brutal match, Carnivore wins. Later, Dicko's mistress visits Sunny and seduces her. The mistress then storms at Sunny's head, crushing it. However, Sunny's laughter is heard, revealing that her human body is only a BioWare processor spliced into a spine, and that her consciousness was always inside Carnivore. Sunny, as Carnivore, breaks out of the holding tank and kills the mistress, then prepares to kill Dicko. Long after the fall of humanity, three robots wander through a post-apocalyptic city. They learn the concept of human sports, consumption, and eventually pets when they encounter a live cat which proceeds to follow them. The three robots learn about their origins and later arrive at what appears to be a nuclear mission base. The triangular bot explains that humans died from environmental disasters caused by their actions. KVRC states that at one point, humans genetically engineered their cats. While many other cats in the base corner the three robots. A man murders a woman in an apartment in Hong Kong. He then realizes that a woman in the hotel across the street, identical to his victim, has witnessed the murder. He starts to chase her. The woman steals a gun and hides in an apartment, but the man finds and corners her. They proceed to fight over the gun, with the woman ending up shooting the man dead. A small community of farmers pilot mech suits to defend their land from an invading swarm of insectoids which they call the bees. When the defense field fails, so the community heads for underground shelters. All arms are called in and one neighbor, Jake, sacrifices himself to kill a large portion of the swarm. A giant insectoid breaks through, but a well-aimed shot from the turret gun, one of the farmer's wives, destroys it. The camera zooms out to show that the whole planet is populated by DBs, and the farmers are the invading force, having set up doomed colonies across the planet. Flynn, a mercenary, and Dr. V. Hunt, an archaeologist, escape through a tunnel. Moments before Dr. V. Hunt's intern, Simon discovers a cave with inscriptions describing an eater of souls. A demon suddenly appears and devours Simon. On their way, they are confronted by the demon, which is revealed to be Dracula. Dracula attempts to kill Flynn, although it stops and retreats after seeing a cat. Dr. V. Hunt explains that Dracula fears and hates cats. The two reunite with Mickey and Gary in a chamber, but they are cut off from the main exit. Realizing that Dracula has followed them, Dr. V. Hunt finds another exit through a secret tunnel while the mercenaries set up explosives. The team escapes, and when Dracula re-enters the chamber, he is killed in the explosion. However, the tunnel leads the team to another chamber filled with similar vampires. A group of scientists mutates yogurt by fermenting bacteria. The yogurt asks to meet US leaders, to whom it claims to have solutions for the country's problems. As payment, the yogurt requests control over the state of Ohio. Soon, the yogurt gives the president a plan to eradicate the United States national debt, warning him that any deviation will be catastrophic. The president can't help but deviate, and the global economy soon collapses within 6 months except for Ohio. In desperation, the government gives the yogurt supreme executive power over much opposition. A decade later, humans live prosperous lives under the yogurt's reign. The yogurt suddenly decides to initiate space launches, leaving the humans behind on Earth. The Blue Goose spaceship's crew members, Tom, Susie, and Ray, are returning home from a successful mission, but an error in the routing plot causes unexpected events to happen. Tom awakes from suspended animation and is greeted by Greta. She tells him that he and his crew are hundreds of thousands of light years from Earth, and there is no way for them to get home. He demands the truth from the tearful Greta, so she reluctantly relents and awakens him. Tom is revealed to be an emaciated old man, and Greta an alien spider at the web's center. As Tom loses his mind from the encounter, Greta returns him to the dream world, minus his recent memories, just as she could with his crew. She reawakes him and greets him all over again. In early 20th century China, Yang Liang and his father track a shape-shifting fox-like Hulijing named Xiaolozhong to her den. Xiaolozhong urges Yan to escape, but Liang's father kills Xiaolong in front of them. Unbeknownst to his father, Liang lets Yan go. Years later, Liang's father dies just before the British colonizing of Hong Kong. Liang moves to Hong Kong where he works as a train engineer and one night sees Yan, now permanently human because industrialization has supplanted magic. The governor of Hong Kong had drugged her and turned her into a cyborg sex toy, but she eventually killed him. Liang builds her a flexible metal alloy body able to morph into a robotic Holy Jing. Parting as friends, Yang then hunts Englishmen abusing women in her homeland. A city inspector tries to convince Ugly Dave to move out of his house in a dump. However, Dave refuses to leave. He tells the inspector about his past encounter with Otto, a muck creature that has fused with whatever material it consumed in the dump. Instead of killing it, Dave made it his pet. He then encourages Otto to eat the inspector. Two close werewolf friends, Decker and Sobieski, serve in the US Marines in Afghanistan. They are ambushed by Taliban militia while escorting a convoy. After returning to base, later that day, Sobieski is assigned to the watchtower position. That night, it is attacked and Decker races ahead of the backup convoy to help the troops. Upon arrival, Decker finds Sobieski and the other soldiers slaughtered by what appears to be another werewolf. Commander Raina orders Decker to find the Taliban werewolf and bring him in alive. The next night, Decker sneaks out of the base camp into the desert and meets an old man and a younger man he previously encountered, both of whom morph into werewolf form. After fighting and defeating them both, the injured Decker returns to base and ends his service in disguise. He reclaims Sobieski's body and buries him in the desert with his dog tag. Alexandria Stephens attends to a faulty satellite in Earth orbit. During a spacewalk, her old model EVA suit is hit by a stray screw from orbital debris, casting her hopelessly adrift with only 14 minutes of oxygen. She seals the upper left arm of her suit using her watch strap, then removes the left glove, exposing her left arm to the vacuum of space. Throwing the glove pushes her back towards the satellite, but she narrowly misses grabbing hold. She decides to break off her now frozen left forearm and throws it in the last-ditch attempt to make it back to her ship. Two salesmen get stuck in the desert after their Plymouth breaks down due to a broken radiator. At night, they wake up to find the ghosts of prehistoric marine life floating around the car. In awe of the sight, the young man undresses to swim through the air, while the old man urges him to return. As the young man becomes a luminescent being, a primordial shark appears. Despite the old man's call of danger, the young man stays ignorant until the ghost shark devours him. After two crew members are lost, other marines become superstitious and give the unlucky ship to rookie Lieutenant Cutter. Cutter flies 20 missions without casualty. Under her charge, the ship is reowned as Lucky 13. On one mission, 13 is grounded by the subsurface gun. The ship fails, but all its occupants survive. Cutter sets 13 to self-destruct to kill as many enemy troops as it can. After reaching the trench, Cutter watches as the ship does not detonate until enemy troops take over, where 13 takes them all down with her. Cutter is awarded numerous medals and a cutting-edge new ship, but she longs for one more mission with Lucky 13. Journalist Claire Markham is invited to interview the reclusive artist Zima Blue. Zima moved on to morals until they were incorporated into celestial bodies. When they meet, Zima reveals to Claire that even though many assume he is a cybernetically enhanced man, in truth he is an advanced android originally built by the roboticists to clean ceramic pool tiles. He was upgraded and modified as the testbed for hardware and software to his current state, passed from owner to owner after his original owner died. He unveils his final piece, casts off all his modifications, and reverts to his original state as a simple pool tile cleaning machine. A cyborg crew, Hawk, Kali, Sui, and Rookie, attempt to rob a convoy for a heavily guarded microchip. As they plant explosives on the back car, Sui drops one of his when swerving to avoid a desert rat, alerting the guards. Kali opens cover fire as Hawk moves in to deal with the turrets. Once in the tunnel, they have a limited window to get the microchip, but as Hawk readies, he is blindsided and destroyed by a massive defense bot. Using the distraction, Sui knocks it off the convoy, but it shifts into vehicle mode and gives chase, crushing Kali as it does. Sui sacrifices himself to destroy the defense bot's CPU and the convoy. Rookie survives and takes the targeted microchip, lamenting the loss of his team. He is greeted by Bob, commending him for a job well done. Gail and Rob move into the apartment finding an antique refrigerator. Opening it to get ice, they find a tiny preserved mammoth. Within 10 minutes, the civilization goes from medieval era to industrial revolution then modern day. But some minutes later, they find the civilization used tactical nuclear warfare which burns Rob's face. After an hour and afraid they did not make it, they open the freezer and find the civilization has rebuilt and has moved further into its future, evolving at an unprecedented level. They ultimately evolve into a race of energy beings and vanish from the freezer. Believing the mini people are gone, Rob unplugs the refrigerator to clean it in the morning. As they have breakfast, they find the freezer now has a prehistoric world. Multiversity, an alternative history research simulation app, shows a user 6 different timelines involving the death of Adolf Hitler in 1908 instead of 1945. Potential consequences of each death include different outcomes from World War I and World War II, various individuals reaching the moon first, time travel paradoxes, and post apocalyptic scenarios. Exiting the demo, the user selects a possible alternate timeline where Lincoln shoots first. A platoon of Red Army soldiers hunts demons in the Siberian forests. Following a bloody victory, Scott Okchen finds the decomposed corpse of a fallen secret police agent, Boris Grishin. Grishin's notebook describes Operation Hades, an attempt to summon demons to fight for the Red Army. However, the summoners fail to control them and are killed. Okchen and another soldier, Pogodin, ready munitions to steal the demon's nest, but the blast instead opens the entire burrow. The horde is larger than expected, so Zakharov orders the last stand, commanding his son to relay a message to bombard their current location to kill the horde. By the morning, the whole platoon is killed by the demons, but planes fly over them and begin carpet bombing the site. Thank you for watching the recap. Please give it a like and subscribe to our channel for more recaps like this.